Ken, I'm making up the rules as I go. Clearly. The Dark Descent of Elizabeth... That is such a weird-ass book. I could cry just thinking about it again. Well, hello. Welcome back to my channel. Joshana here to talk about a few friggin' books that I really like and to see if our reading tastes align. This is apparently something that people have been doing or were doing at some point semi-recently on Instagram. I suck at checking my Bookstagram, and my personal Instagram is not real bookish themed in my algorithm and everything, so I didn't know this was a thing. But Portable Magic here on YouTube, she did this and said that it was like a trending thing on Instagram. And so I was like, hey, that seems maybe fun. It's like, do we like the same books? And so I'm gonna go through, and I don't actually know if there's like specific rules. So I'm just gonna go through each genre and list these 4 or 5 books that I like love in these genres. And if you also loved, really liked, I'm gonna say could be just you really, really liked it. Maybe it wasn't like all-time fave, but you're like, yeah, it was at least like 4 stars or something. Then you get 10 points. You get 2 points if the book is on your TBR, you haven't read it, but you really want to, and you're like excited for it. And then -5 if you read it and you disliked it, and you're like, ugh, no. So it just adds up, and I don't know what the math is. I'll put it on screen, how many points total you could get overall based on how many I have. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just kind of thought it'd be a fun little quick thing to do. I'm gonna start with fantasy. And this is kind of hard to pick 5 specific ones that I felt represented my taste well enough. So the first one is The Final Strife by Sada El-Arifi. Second one is Tyranny of Queens or An Accident of Stars. I like Tyranny of Queens better than An Accident of Stars, but I still love An Accident of Stars by Fawz Meadows. The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. And again, any book in the series, if you love any book in the series, I loved all of them equally pretty much, but any of those. And then Jade City, and Jade War is actually technically my favorite of the series, but I like the series overall, by Fonda Lee. And then Age of Myth by Michael J. Sullivan. That whole series, Legends of the First Empire. Again, I would say if you're like, Age of Myth wasn't my favorite, but like one of the books in that series, you're like, hell yeah, 4 or 5 stars, then you can count it. Again, I'm making up the rules as I go. Clearly. My next category or genre is historical fiction, because I do enjoy a bit of historical fiction. And can we guess the first one? You should know if you've been here for any length of time. City of Girls by Elizabeth Gilbert. All-time fucking fave book. And then the Cemetery of Forgotten Books series by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. It's a series, so I do have fluctuating opinions on the series overall. I think Prisoner of Heaven was my favorite if I remember correctly, but I love all of them, so. Seventh Veil of Salome by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. And then The Women of Chateau Lafayette by Stephanie Dray. And then, might be surprising, but I do have some faves in this genre and some newer faves as well. Gothic/gothic horror. Not just horror, but like the gothic leaning horror. Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson, for sure. Blood on Her Tongue, Joanna Van Vane, recent one. Buffalo Hunter Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones, another recent one. And Ring Shout by P. Jelly Clark, not a recent one, novella that I fucking love and I need to reread. And then this last category isn't necessarily actually a genre that I like love and read very much of ever. And it's very hit or miss with me. Like the Gothic, I would say I don't read as much of it as like historical fiction or whatever, but cozy fantasy, I don't like read it a shit ton, but there are a few faves. And I think that this could be telling as far as what are my faves in the cozy fantasy genre compared to yours. That's why I included it. So, Keeper of Magical Things by Julie Leong. The Lady Hardcastle series. I guess not cozy fantasy. Cozy. Because that's a cozy mystery. Historical cozy mystery. So, this genre is just cozy. But yeah, the Lady Hardcastle series by T.E. Kinsey, love that. House on the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. Have not really loved other T.J. Klune cozies, but I did love that one. And then Teller of Small Fortunes, also by Julie Leong. And the Julie Leong ones are cozy fantasy. And then we have lit fic or general fiction, whatever. These ones are more literary in some ways, but just kind of general fiction. First one, Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson. And then I haven't, while recording this right now, I haven't even talked about this book. I did make a community post though. New all-time favorite book of my life, The Names by Florence Knapp. I could cry just thinking about it again. And then Shark Heart by Emily Habeck. I Who Have Never Known Men by that person. Hold, please. By Jacqueline Harpman. And then Nutshell by Ian McEwan. I need to reread that. That is such a weird ass book, but I love it. Or I loved it when I read it initially. Hi, Joshana from a totally different day here because I realized I forgot a few key books that I think are pretty solid like indicators of my reading taste as well. And they kind of, I mean, I think there's a couple fantasy, there's historical, there's contemporary, and then there's like dystopian. So this is just like YA in general. Okay, there's a couple different genres covered here, but some young adult books that have held up for me over the years. And as with all the other categories, this is not the end-all be-all of my favorites for this genre. There are others as well, but the ones I have selected. And I Darken by Kirsten White, Conqueror's Saga. Again, same as with the other ones. Maybe you've read the series and like the second book was your favorite. That's fine. I would say give yourself the points. Yeah, I really love this. Need to reread it, as I've been saying for like 6 years at this point, but I do love it. This is one I have reread and it holds up. That is the Seven Realms series by Cinda Williams-Chima, The Demon King being the first one. This is young adult fantasy. This one is young adult historical fiction. Young adult horror, The Dark Descent of Elizabeth... The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein by Kirsten White as well. And then a young adult contemporary that is an all-time favorite, I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. Stupid ass fucking cover. I hate this shit, but that's the actual cover. And then the YA dystopian, can we guess? You're probably not going to be terribly surprised if you've been here for a hot minute. The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. And for this, I'm talking about the original trilogy. I really did enjoy Sunrise on the Reaping. Didn't enjoy Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes so much. But referring to the original trilogy, again, any one of the books, if they are a favorite for you, or 4-star or higher, give yourself the points. But okay, that's all for the young adult. Random insert. Back to the regularly scheduled programming. So there we go. That's that. Bunches of categories, genres, and bunches of books. I don't know what the total is that you could get if you loved all of them. I'll put it on screen again. And let me know in the comments what your score is. Yeah, I just think it'd be kind of fun to see. Or if you don't want to play along and you just want to say hi, you can leave an emoji as always. Thank you so much for your time. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.